Hi guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified, and if you're new here, welcome. And today I'm doing a foundation review and wear test, and I'm testing out the Sensai Cellular Performance Cream Foundation. Now this is not a new foundation by any means. It has been on the market for a number of years, and it used to be under the brand Kanibo. Kanibo now owns Sensai, and it is available in South Africa as Sensai. And I used to use the brand when it was still Kanibo many years ago. I used one of their liquid foundations, and I remember it being absolutely beautiful. It really was just such a stunning foundation. And then unfortunately they left the country. They have come back, and so I was chatting to a customer consultant in one of the beauty stores, and she actually recommended the foundation, and she said it's perfect for mature skin and it's got a beautiful texture, etc. So she really sold me on it. Now, of course, it is a Japanese product, and I really think that the Japanese do know how to make skincare. And at the core of its ingredient is something called Koishimaru silk. So that is in all their products, and it really is a beautiful range. It's not a huge range, but they do have skincare and they have makeup as well. So onto the makeup, it comes in a 30 ml jar. It does have an SPF of 15. Unfortunately, it only comes in 8 shades, so you'll be very lucky if you do find a shade that suits you. But the undertones are beautiful, so they remind me very much of the Chanel undertones. So if you do find one that suits you, it really is going to be a perfect match. You're not going to get anything that's too pink or too yellow. So I got lucky. I picked up the shade in Almond Beige, which is exactly the same shade that I used all those years ago when I was using the Kanibo foundation. So now a little bit about my skin. I am 51 years old. I have less than perfect skin. I have a lot of texture. I have enlarged pores. I have fine lines, wrinkles, and I have normal combination skin. So I really do struggle with foundations in terms of longevity, in terms of hiding my texture or not exacerbating my texture, and also just in terms of wear. So it's something that I really need to pay quite close attention to, and I have tried a lot of foundations, and most of them are always bordering on matte. Now this one is, they call it a radiant foundation, so I'm very skeptical of any radiance on my skin because of my enlarged pores, etc. But I have been longing for the day when I find one that I can actually wear that adds a little bit of life to my skin and that is just not flat and matte. So on that note, I'm going to take you through the application. I'm going to do a full day wear test of the foundation. I'm going to come back at the end of the day, and I'm going to let you know how this foundation fared. I've prepped my skin as always. I have applied my SPF. So to get started, I'm going to apply a little bit of the brightening base onto the one side of my face. So this is the Sensai brightening base. I was given a little bit of a sample in store, so I thought, why not? I'm going to try it. It is supposed to be a primer, a hydrating primer, which helps the longevity of the makeup. I'm not a big fan of primers. I have yet to meet one that I have fallen in love with, but I thought, let's see, give this a go and just see if it has any effect. So just going to put it onto the one side of my face. It is brightening my skin. It has a little bit of a pearlescence to it. So we're going to see if that adds to the oils throughout the day, or if it does something magical and just allows the foundation to stay on that little bit more. So now we're going to go in with the foundation. Now the dispensing mechanism is rather finicky because it does come in a jar. So it has got a little white cap over it, which is going to be a little bit messy. So that's what the foundation looks like. They do give you a little plastic spatula to dispense the foundation, and it is quite a thick cream, so I'm not quite sure what other mechanism they could have used, but I'm sure they would have found it if they had any other ideas for it. So yeah, it's really not the best, but I'm just going to dot a little bit of this all over my face. Now they do say that on the website, they say apply it with your fingers. I'm going to apply it with a brush today, just because it is quite thick. So we're going to see how it applies with a soft brush, but you honestly could apply it with your fingers if that is your preferred method. I probably wouldn't try with a sponge because I think the sponge is going to soak up too much of the product because the product is quite thick. So I'm just buffing it in. I'm going in with my Sheen foundation brush. It's a very soft one, so it is lovely. And I'm just going to buff this all over the skin. It is spreading really smoothly and evenly. Can see my skin through it still. So this is probably a medium foundation. I'm not quite sure if you could build it up to full coverage just because of the consistency, and it is supposed to be a radiant foundation. So it is giving me a beautiful all over glow. I do have a little bit of redness peeking through on my skin. So as I say, definitely not a full coverage, but it is just giving me a beautiful skin-like finish. So it is a little bit glowy, but it's definitely not accentuating my pores at this stage. The side that I've put the primer on looks very, very similar to the side without. So we are going to see if it performs and enhances the foundation in any way. The primer, I'm not sure if it is a must-have, but we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt. So that's just one layer of the foundation, and it really has applied quite beautifully. A little bit of my texture coming through, which is really par for the course. There's nothing that's going to completely obliterate my texture, but I always hope for the best, and I hope to find something that's going to minimize the appearance of my pores and my texture. And this is looking really, really good. So I can see a few red spots coming through. I do have a little bit of a dry skin area going on there. I have a couple of spots over there. So I am going to lightly conceal. I'm going in with my Chanel Le Correcteur. It's the same one that I've used under my eyes. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of that over some of the redness just to help neutralize it. And I'm just going to gently pat that in with my finger. So I'm quite happy with that. I did want to mention that I am in the shade Almond Beige. I'm going to apply a little bit of blush. I'm not going to powder down just yet. We're going to powder down after I've applied the blush. I'm just going to give the foundation a little bit of time to settle. So I'm going in with a cream blush, and today I'm going in with a MAC Glowplay, and this is in the color Heat Index. It's not nearly as violent as it looks in the pan. Just taking a little Sheen blush brush, and I'm just going to pounce a little bit of that all over my cheeks. The blush has applied really well over the foundation. It hasn't moved it around at all, so that's a bonus. And now I'm going to go in with a little bit of setting powder, and I know that this is probably sacrilege, but I'm going in with my Revlon Candid, and just to mattify a little bit. So it is giving me a beautiful glow. It's definitely not emphasizing my texture. You can still see a little bit of my texture. There is nothing that's going to disguise it after all. But I'm going to just mattify my T-zone, just taking a little bit of the loose powder and my forehead where I do tend to get quite oily. So just putting a little bit of powder on there. But obviously the point of the foundation is to give you a youthful radiance. So we are not going to powder it down and obliterate that completely. So it really is looking quite good. I am going to apply some lips, and then I'm going to come back and give you my final thoughts, and then right at the end I'm going to come back at the end of the day and let you know how the foundation performed. So the lips are done. The foundation has now been on for about 5 minutes. It really has settled beautifully. It just feels so comfortable on the skin. It feels like you're wearing nothing at all. It's really done a beautiful job of evening my skin tone and just creating a beautiful, very subtle glow. So there's nothing that screams glow. And I'm really, really liking it at this stage. So I'm going to go about my day, and I'm going to come back in a few hours and we're going to have a close look and see how the foundation has performed. So guys, I've now had the foundation on for 8 hours. I did blot at the 4-hour mark, and I did add a little bit of powder because I did have some oils seeping through. And then I also blotted a few minutes ago. I was supposed to do it on camera, forgot to press record, and there was a little bit of oil that came through. But overall, I think that the foundation is looking really, really good. It really looks skin-like, and at the 8-hour mark it looks like it's been worn in, but it hasn't broken up anywhere around my nose or my nasolabial folds. It really has stayed intact, so you can see that it's kind of lived in now after the 8-hour mark, but it just looks like really good skin. So I'm very, very impressed with it. The side that I applied the brightening primer to was definitely a little bit more oily than the other side. So that's a product I will give a miss, because my normal combination skin definitely doesn't need a glowy primer. It would probably be good for dry skinned ladies. But really, all in all, very, very impressed. And I think this is a great everyday foundation. If you have dry skin, I would recommend this, and if you have normal combination, I would recommend it. If you have very oily skin, then I would probably say give it a pass. Now, it does very much remind me of the Stila Stay All Day foundation. It definitely has the same kind of luxurious appeal to it that this one does, and very, very reminiscent of that. It really reminded me of that. But it is a beautiful everyday foundation. I would recommend it if you are in the market for something that's high-end and luxurious. I can really recommend this one. I'm very, very impressed with it. It has really been quite forgiving on my texture, which is kind of the most that I can expect in this day and age. So guys, let me know if you've used the Sensai Cellular Performance Foundation Cream. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know your thoughts. I am going to leave you with a link to my video on the Stila Stay All Day foundation in case you're interested in that. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.